Lion versus gorilla. Who actually wins? Two of the most powerful creatures Africa has ever produced. One built by 40 million years of evolution into the perfect killing machine. The other so physically powerful that scientists who study it still struggle to put its strength into numbers that make sense. The lion, the gorilla. One fight, one winner. But before we give you the answer, you need to understand something. Most people who debate this fight are arguing about the wrong things entirely. They talk about size, about teeth, about claws. The real deciding factor in this fight has nothing to do with any of those things. And by the end of this video, you will never look at either of these animals the same way again. Let us start with the lion, and let us start with the thing most people get completely wrong about it. The lion is not the king of the jungle. It does not live in jungles. It never has. The lion is the king of the open savanna, the grasslands of Africa, where prey has nowhere to hide, and speed means everything. A fully grown male lion weighs between 330 and 550 pounds. It stands 4 feet tall at the shoulder. Its body stretches up to 8 feet from nose to tail, and those numbers do not even begin to tell the real story. Its claws, 4 inches long, retractable, razor sharp, designed by 40 million years of evolution to grip prey that is running at full speed and pull it to the ground. A single swipe from a lion's paw has been recorded breaking a zebra's spine completely in half. Its bite force, 650 pounds per square inch. Designed for one specific purpose, the throat hold. Every kill a lion makes ends the same way. Jaws around the throat. Cut off the airway. Wait. But here is what separates the lion from every other big cat alive. The mane. Scientists spent decades arguing about why male lions have manes. The answer they found was not about attracting females. It was not about intimidation. The mane is biological armor. A thick, dense layer of hair specifically covering the neck and throat. The exact area every predator targets for the killing bite. When another lion or predator grabs a male lion's throat, it gets a mouthful of hair. The real flesh and arteries underneath are protected. Nature gave the lion a shield built specifically for throat attacks. Remember that. One more thing about the lion that most people do not know. Its stamina is terrible. Genuinely terrible. A lion can sprint at 50 miles per hour, but only for about 300 meters before it overheats. After that, it needs hours to recover. The lion is not built for long fights. It is built for one perfect moment. One strike. One kill. If that moment does not come, the lion is in serious trouble. Now the gorilla. And everything you think you know about it is probably an underestimate. A fully grown silverback weighs up to 400 pounds. That already makes it one of the largest primates that has ever existed. But the weight tells you almost nothing about what this animal is actually capable of. Scientists have measured gorilla strength using dynamometer tests, the same equipment used to measure human strength. The results stop the study. A silverback gorilla can exert a pulling force of over 1,800 pounds. That is roughly 10 times the strength of the strongest human being who has ever lived. Let that sink in completely. The strongest humans alive, elite powerlifters who have dedicated their entire lives to building strength, are 1/10 as strong as a gorilla that spent its morning eating leaves. Its arms span 8.5 feet from fingertip to fingertip. It can bend solid steel bars, tear a full-grown banana tree out of the ground with one hand, and crush objects with a grip strength that engineers use as a benchmark when designing industrial machinery. Its bite force, 1,300 pounds per square inch, twice the lion's. Designed not for hunting but for crushing the hardest nut seeds and stems in the African jungle. Those canine teeth, up to 2 inches long, are not for eating. They are for one thing only: intimidation. And here's the thing about the gorilla that changes this entire fight. It does not just have strength. It has hands. Actual hands. With opposable thumbs. Capable of gripping, throwing, and wielding objects as weapons. A silverback in its natural environment is never more than a few feet from rocks, branches, and debris that it can pick up and use. Scientists have recorded gorillas throwing objects with enough force and accuracy to stun animals much larger than themselves. But here is the gorilla's greatest advantage and its greatest weakness at the same time. It is not a predator. It has never hunted. It has never killed to survive. It eats plants. It lives peacefully. It fights only when its family is threatened. Which means when this fight starts, the gorilla will not be thinking like a killer. It will be thinking like a defender. And that difference, aggressor versus defender, changes everything about how this fight plays out. Here is something nobody talks about in this debate. These two animals do not share the same habitat at all. Lions live in open grasslands and savannas, wide open spaces, clear sight lines, room to run and stalk and ambush from a distance. This is where a lion is at its absolute peak. Gorillas live in dense mountain jungle. If this fight happens on the open savanna, the lion has a massive home advantage. It can stalk. It can approach from downwind. It can choose its moment perfectly. If this fight happens in the jungle, the gorilla has every advantage. It knows every inch of the terrain. It can use the environment as a weapon. The lion cannot sprint effectively, cannot see clearly, cannot hunt the way it was built to hunt. The location of this fight matters more than almost any other factor. Keep that in mind. So let us play this out, step by step, exactly how this fight would actually happen. The lion's strategy is simple. It always has been. Get close without being detected. Identify the weakest point. Strike once with everything it has. Go for the throat. The problem? The gorilla is not prey. It does not run. It does not freeze. The moment the gorilla detects the lion, and with its hearing and peripheral vision it almost certainly will, it does not flee. It stands up, all 400 pounds of it, beats its chest so hard the sound carries half a mile, screams, charges, and picks up the nearest heavy object it can find. The lion has now lost its greatest weapon. Surprise! The stealthy approach is gone. The single perfect strike opportunity has vanished. And now it is facing something that is not afraid of it. Something that is screaming and charging and throwing things at it. If the lion retreats, the gorilla wins by default. If the lion holds its ground and the gorilla lands a single full-force punch, and scientists estimate a gorilla punch carries between 1,300 and 2,700 pounds of force, the lion is in serious danger of catastrophic injury from that single blow. But if the lion manages to close the distance, gets past the gorilla's arms, and lands its jaws on the throat, the fight ends immediately. The gorilla's size means nothing if it cannot breathe. This is the knife's edge this entire fight balances on. The gorilla needs to keep the lion at arm's length. The lion needs to get inside the gorilla's reach. And between those two objectives, one of them will fail. In most scenarios, the gorilla's reach advantage combined with its throwing ability and terrain awareness gives it enough tools to keep the lion from landing that decisive bite. And once the gorilla gets its hands on the lion, on anything, the lion's stamina problem becomes fatal. A lion that cannot finish the fight quickly is a lion that loses. So who wins? In most scenarios, in most environments, with all factors considered, the gorilla wins. Not easily, not cleanly, but it wins. The lion's only realistic path to victory is a perfect ambush landing a perfect bite on the first attempt. If that moment passes, the gorilla's strength, stamina, reach, and intelligence give it too many tools that a lion simply cannot answer. But here's the part that surprises people most. In the wild, this fight almost certainly never happens, and the reason why says more about these animals than any fight analysis ever could. Gorillas are intelligent enough to avoid lions entirely. They do not share territory. They do not compete for food. A silverback that encounters a lion in the wild will make noise, enormous, terrifying noise. And the lion, which hunts by ambush and conserves every calorie, will almost always walk away. Because the lion is not stupid either. It knows what costs too much energy is not worth the risk. A gorilla represents enormous risk for very little reward. So the real answer to who wins this fight is, the gorilla wins the fight, but the lion wins the decision not to have one. Two of nature's greatest creations, built for completely different purposes, living completely different lives, neither one inferior to the other. The lion is the most perfectly designed ambush predator that has ever walked the African continent. The gorilla is the most physically powerful primate that has ever existed on Earth. Put them in a room together, and the gorilla probably wins. But nature was smart enough to never put them in that room. If this video changed how you see these two animals, subscribe to ZooCurious. We do not just tell you who wins, we tell you why nature designed them that way. And that story is always more extraordinary than the fight itself. Comment below. Who did you think would win before watching this? And who do you think wins now? We read every single one.